This application has three primary sections to it. We've already covered putting in the consignor's information. We've also gone through these small screens here that are part of the consignor information, like adding items and so forth. Now we're going to go to the next primary record. This is not a popover. It actually opens up the buyer's listing. We're going to click and go there. When you have a buyer and you add it to the listing, you have the data for the basic part of this buyer. What you do is you click on Edit, and if you're going to add a new buyer, you click on the new record. It should put in a numeric number for each one of the buyers in the buyer record. Now this is a primary record because it has new records in here. So each time you create a new record, you have a new buyer. Like you had a new consignor, you would have a new buyer. And like in the consignor screen, what you would do is provide the information for the buyer. We said before, the reason for having information for the buyer is so you can contact them in whatever way possible to announce, say for example, an estate sale. That would be a good one, or a moving sale. Or when you're going to have special events where you're selling stuff in your store, like a closeout of a bunch of new things, and you're offering them at a lesser price so people can come in and take part in that sale. For as far as directions, this would be a direction for this particular person as far as directions are concerned. But there's a map up here that's also included. Buyers can become consignors. So what you want to do is, if you have the address information in the buyer's record and they ask you, of course they're probably local, but they ask you to come pick up certain things from them so that they can be consigned, you can go ahead and create a record using the map. You're using the data for the actual address and all the information as far as the address is concerned, and that'll open the map to that location. And then you can actually get directions from the map and then paste them in here if you're not going to use the map while you're driving to the site. It'll give you the turn-by-turn information. And that's available on the map program when you create directions to a location. Just copy them and paste them in here. You also have additional phone numbers and emails and Skype and even their messaging ID number or whatever it is, the right name or whatever. Buyer's notes. If you have buyers that are asking for something, for example, maybe they want $1 million bracelet or whatever. So if you have something in the line of what people are looking for, you can always pop over to your item listing, and down here item listing for your consigned items, or you can go to the list view from that site and do a search for items that you're looking for. So it's a very fast way of finding stuff. Over here below the maps you have the invoice input edit, the order invoice portal, the invoice payment portal, buyer's listing, and the item labels small. Now that'll take you to the labels for if you need to print something out based on some items that you're added to your inventory, or view the items listed on or making labels. You can just pop over there from here and open up that label. Now it's not a very difficult area to work with. If you have buyers that are no longer needed or have left your area and they won't be back, you can always delete that record. But keep in mind, when you delete a record, you're also deleting the information from the invoice for the mailing address. So what I'm suggesting here is only in a last chance thing. Say like the guy signed up as a buyer and never bought anything and didn't come back, then you can go ahead and delete his record. I started out this particular set of records with walk-in client. What is a walk-in client? A walk-in client is a person that comes into your store and does not want to have their name or information about them retained in your store. But they do buy things and pay cash, and they're good customers, so you don't want to tell them that you don't want them to come in. On the other hand, what you can do is you can ask them if they want to be added to your information list, so that when you're having specials or estate sales or something like that, that you can let them know about it. And that way, when you go through your listing over here, the listing for input and editing, whoops, I went to the wrong place. But anyhow, when you're on this, you can go back right over to the buyer's area, buyer's listing, and I'm going to look at buyer's data. And in the buyer's data, you can also have a list, the list view for buyers. And when you want to make the invoice portal, which is actually a portion of the invoice, you would click over here to go to that, order invoice portal itself, and the invoice and editing. Okay, this is a short video that explains what a buyer's thing is. And as I was explaining, the walk-in client is somebody who comes in and say, for example, they don't want to give you the thing on the invoice itself. You could click on the buyer's name and drop down and pick which is the default, which is walk-in client. Okay, if you have any questions or need assistance, you can do as always. You can go ahead and click on the Do Action, come down to Support, and then click on that to go to our website. Thank you.